this is a really, really interesting chart that I came across. And basically, this is weekly appearances in news stories for the term soft landing in light blue and hard landing in news stories. All right, so that's the dark blue is hard landing or recession. Light blue is obviously soft landing, no landing, going to be perfect. We're going to sing Kumbaya for the rest of our lives. What you can clearly see is that if you look here, look at the height of stories that are claiming that there's going to be a soft landing in the economy. I use this as a contrarian indicator, just like search results for the term recession. You can use it as a signal as well. When everyone's banking on recession, it likely isn't going to happen. We saw that earlier this year. All right, early this year, everyone was looking it up. If you look at the search results now for recession, it's like minuscule compared to where it was. All right, so here we have, again, huge divergence from articles that are talking about hard landing or recession, which probably would be me, I'm in that camp, versus soft landing. So just notice the divergence, how ridiculous it's got here, how oversized that has gotten. All right, next chart I want to bring up here, look at this one. This is U.S. employment total versus U.S. employment part-time, all right? So full-time versus part-time. The blue is full-time, the orange is part-time. Look at this, the orange has spiked. So part-time work is spiking, full-time work is actually going negative. And again, for economic purposes, that is not a good sign, folks. When people are looking for jobs, the general person isn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'd love to find a part-time job. Yeah, occasionally someone says that, you know, if they're a mom and they're staying at home, or a dad that stays at home, they might want to look for part-time work. But in general, most people want full-time so they can actually buy a house, so they can actually feed themselves, so they can actually buy a car or lease a car, which now is $750 the average lease or car payment. I mean, it's ridiculous. My point is that's not a good indicator right there. All right, next one, guys, we got to go to this one. This is now the market starting to go in the direction, and I'm just going to say it, guys. I've been calling this for a million years, well, really for the last year, saying that inflation, long-term inflation, is going to be stuck above 2%. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, this chart shows you basically the expectations for inflation over the next 5 years. Expectations, again, what is the market expecting inflation will be over the next 5 years? Well, take a look at this. It was down around 2%. Now it's starting to spike up. So now you're basically at 2.5% going forward over the next 5 years for inflation. My guess is this will ultimately top out around 3%, like I've been saying for a long time. And again, we'll be looking at that over time. I'll continue to follow this chart, but we see that expectations on inflation are now starting to pop, which again, in my thesis about how this economy has major trouble in its future, it's that if inflation is 3% and we go into a recession, the Fed's not going to be able to print us out of it, or they're going to be unwilling until the recession gets so bad that they say, you know what, we can live with 3% inflation. We have to print money because things are so bad out there. Unemployment is 6%, 7%, 8%, whatever it is. So these are things that I want us to be very, very aware of here, folks. Okay.